Welcome back, another episode. The Chicago Police Department episode. They kidnapped Sergeant Voight from his own house. Having been drugged before, he didn't fight back. He was at his usual haunt. He believed that drinking there was safe. When the serial killer Frank Matson realized Voight was investigating him, he must have taken Voight away for one final thrilling adventure. When Matson vanished, there were sightings of him on Voight's land. Because Matson was dressed in his lock-keep costume, the neighbor mistook him for one of Voight's police partners. Matson cherished the power that uniform bestowed upon him. He was a serial killer whose tactic was to make lovers stand by while the others perished. Matson had one married child. His spouse believed him to be a man who feared God. She didn't want her daughter assisting the police, and she didn't think her husband could be a serial killer. Detective Burgess found out from young Lucy what kind of car her father was driving before the mother got involved. His car was a gray sedan. They didn't register it. Most likely, he took it. He had no idea Lucy had seen him get into the unidentified automobile. That day, Lucy was released from school early. Her father also overlooked his duty to keep an eye on her. She arrived home early. She saw him take things out of the garage. She noticed him in the unusual. He never entered the house, so he was unaware that day that he was meant to be watching his daughter. Lucy's mother then closed the line of communication, so the police were unable to collect any additional information from her. It alone sufficed. A dark vehicle was parked in Voight's neighborhood. They used street cameras to track it. They believed they had put it in a storehouse. Petrovic attempted to convey to them that it was happening too quickly. Matson had more than enough time to plan out his approach to Voight. Not until he was done with him did he want to be discovered. Voight calling the person he loved the most was the only way Matson was done with him. To obtain that information, he was torturing Voight. Matson took pleasure in inflicting the most agony. He was a sadist. He most likely applied to be an actual police officer, but was rejected. The military may have experienced the same issue. In an attempt to brag, Matson essentially admitted the crimes to his former military cousin-in-law. Voight heard Matson admit that he kidnapped him because he had to have him. He treats people like toys. According to Matson, this is the only occasion on which he feels anything. When he married, had a kid, or made new acquaintances, he felt nothing. He had no feelings for them. He only experiences emotion when he murders people. It only brings him happiness. He needs to murder two individuals at once. He is resistant to change. Matson was tormenting Voight because he wanted to kill them both simultaneously, and he wanted Voight to call Detective Upton. Voight thrust into the knife as he was stabbing him. An artery was sliced by it. He was gushing blood. Matson became agitated because they had only met briefly to cut Voight. When Upton was traveling, she met Matson. She had to get inside Matson's car, or else he wouldn't tell her where Voight was. Matson has been observing both Upton and Voight. He is aware of their mutual significance. There was no call from Voight to Upton. Matson then activated the burner cells. When they reached the house, Upton retaliated. She kept Matson out by locking many doors. She eventually located Voight in the basement. He expressed his desire not to see her there. He had wounds. She had wounds. How are they going to escape this predicament? Upton cut off Voight's connections. They then forcibly removed Matson's gun by using the cellar door. Upton was shot in the side by Matson. Voight then lost his mind about Matson. After scratching his eyes, he struck Matson's head against the cement floor. Matson was effectively dead. Voight and Upton exchanged a few words. Earlier in his delirium, he had declared that he would not wish this on his daughter, that he considered her a daughter was sweet to Upton. She was the only one who arrived broken. She had to leave intelligence in order to give herself the time she needed to recuperate. Although she knew she had to go for her own well-being, she didn't want to go. She was thus going to join the FBI. For more videos, subscribe.